You are now tuned in to the Khaotic Kulture Podcast.
It's the KKP on your mother flipping airways. Hear the name ringing through the halls and the stairways. You were listening to a pod that can segue. All the latest topics guaranteed to fill your headspace. It's a safe place to voice your opinion. Say what you feel just like you're a kid again. Kid the pro and friends, black as obsidian. Chaotic culture, that's the world we living in. So what's the word?
Don't call it a comeback, but we back. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the season 7 premiere of the Khaotic Kulture Podcast, the pod where chaos rules and black culture is supreme. The Khaotic Kulture Podcast is brought to you by patreon.com/Khaotic Kulture Pod. Please be sure that you subscribe to the Patreon to get bonus episodes, content, and of course to help keep the lights on for just as low as $2. Again, $2 a month. Once again, we appreciate your support. This podcast will deep dive into modern black culture and how millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha can navigate the crazy parts from finances, black business highlights, black professionals, community, content creators, homeownership, HBCU sports, black nerdom, anime, wrestling, and especially black music. If it encompasses black culture, we are going to cover it. Live from the 410, I am the host and the creator of the Khaotic Kulture Podcast. This is your boy, Ked the Pro, a.k.a. the Calculator Millennial, a.k.a. the Encore Presentation.
Can I get an encore? Do you want more?
AKA your favorite toxic adjacent king, Ked the Poet, Ked the Closer, all that good shit. 843 is me. Baltimore's the place to be. Always chaotic, never toxic most days. And back again, once again, with your favorite black culture highlights and black culture shenanigans. And of course, on the other side of me is, of course, my co-host, the man with the plan, the person who is pretty much who I call like when it comes to marketing, like this dude is the go-getter of the pod, man. The man, the man who always has a plan in mind. Also, of course, are you still in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so currently coming out of Florida, obviously, my A1 since day one, of course, my co-host since the very beginning, Law. Please go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
What's going on, family? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Question mark. It's your boy Law, aka Mr. Get It Done. Yeah, man. I thank Ked for being here for another season, man. I'm just super blessed and thankful have been able to been afforded this opportunity. Just with everything that I've gone through and what Ked has gone through and what the pod has been through, like we've gone from 3 states now to almost 5, 6, 7 states now. So we are branching different states, different time zones, and hopefully internationally milestones. We're breaking them left and right. So the more we can get up here and talk with you all, and you all stick with us and support us, all we can say is thank you. So again, it's a blessing to be here.
For sure, man. It's a blessing to have you, and of course, it's a blessing to have this platform as well. For real. With all the changes that we've gone through in the last 5 years, it's crazy just how far we come. Once again, I might have talked about it ad nauseum on a few episodes, but just going from that the standard USB mic and passing it back and forth to where we are now, man. It's been a long time coming. So big shout out to the pod, man. We got some more stuff coming up as well. A lot of things that we've done new, and of course a lot of things that are still in the works. But again, man, this is all about the culture and all about highlighting what black culture it means to us, and of course how we can survive it, and of course just talking about some of the crazy shit that happens within black culture as well. At the end of the day, that's what we are here for. Before I get, knee deep into the topics, I just wanted to say real quick that I do apologize ahead of time. I have a little bit of a cough. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. It's not COVID. It's not strep. I got tested for both. They both came up negative. It might be maybe a minor version of influenza because all I've been doing is just coughing. I haven't felt any congestion or anything like that, but I don't know what it is. So if you see me mute my mic, or if you see me like go to the side and do one of these numbers, then obviously that means I got hit with a coughing spell. Got my cup of water here, and that's all that I can really do, man, and take cough medicine. But I don't want to do that until it's time to go to bed. At the time of recording, it is 9:01 on Sunday the 21st. You will more than likely hear this on Tuesday the 23rd. But anyway, let's talk, do the mental health check. That's how we always start off the pod. We want to talk about our mental health and how we're really feeling, especially because September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. We just want to be sure that we are in a good headspace and that we're not having those deep, dark thoughts. So with that in mind, Law, how are you feeling?
The thoughts can only get as dark as my skin.
Well,
that's a joke. But nah, it's been good. Coming off of, being at the pod, or being at the panel up in New York, life has just been pedal to the metal. Mentally, I am as stable as it comes, man. Try to keep a clear mind, especially with everything that I have to deal with on the military end. And then just, taking the phrase, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter, and really executing and exhausting that to its full, what do you call it? To its full extent. I have no time for negativity, so
fair.
No negativity. You can only be in positivity.
For sure, man, for sure. I say that as long as you continue to have like a positive mindset and always try to, put one foot in front of the other. As Law said, it's only going to get as dark as you let it. That being said, there are always outside factors that come with having those bouts of loneliness, or bouts of depression. So we wanted to let you know that we don't take any of these things lightly. Obviously, if you're going through something, we always want to make sure that we have that you have the support that you need. Obviously, especially among Black folk, there has been an increase in suicides, especially like and I'm trying to figure out where I got this statistic from, but in certain like areas they have increased, and especially like in Kentucky, like in the Louisville metro area, I found this statistic that said that like Black suicides have increased 127% from 2020 to 2022, and that is a crazy number. So with that in mind, considering economic stress, considering racial tensions, considering everything that's going on in our current society, we know that this is, it's heavy, and it could be a heavy burden for those of us who are in the midst of that. And so we don't take any of the things that we're saying lightly. So just be mindful. Of course, we can only speak to our experience, but if you are having those experiences and you are trying to find a way, all that I want to say is just hold on, and it's not the end. But before I get into, of course, the resources that are available, it's only right that I talk about what's going on with me. I'm good outside. Excuse me. Job stress. I mean, that's always going to be a thing. Physical pain sometimes, especially working the job that I work. Sometimes my ankles can get a little bit, and then now I this weekend I had like a shoulder issue, and I'm like, where did that come from? So I just continue to do stretches and continue to exercise and continue to eat well. That is going to be my focus. Also, and to try and kick this cough. I know that the seasons have changed, so that's probably why. And I'm hoping that's the case. But I'm continue to, build my body up by, drinking plenty of fluids, plenty of electrolytes, plenty of vitamin C, stuff that is going to help me, kick whatever is afflicting me at this moment. So I just wanted to say, for those of you who are out there who are struggling, just as we are talking about this, just remember that the 988 hotline is still available. I don't know what the government's going to do within the next couple of years, but it is still available. Please be sure that you use that hotline if you are feeling like things just aren't, if they feel as though that you can't go on. Please be sure that you use that hotline. If you need anybody to talk to, obviously, I am a good ear, I've been told. So please, do not hesitate to reach out to me or anybody that you may know on this pod. Please, please, please be sure that you are, using whatever resources that you can. Just know that you are not alone in this fight, that all of us at some point or another have had these bouts of darkness, and we have made strides in making sure that we are in a place where we can function. So we want to be sure that we offer that up to you. Once again, please be sure that you use that 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It is available 24/7. There's someone that is always ready to talk to you. If you feel as though that you can't talk to us, please be sure that you talk to somebody in your family. If you are a Christian or if you're religious, obviously talk to somebody who is in a ministry, and also talk to professional help. Obviously, there are mental health professionals out there who are ready to listen to you, whether it be therapy or otherwise. Please be sure that you are using those resources as best as you can. And if you need guidance on where to find those resources, feel free to, of course, contact us or contact someone in your family who may have that availability. And if they don't, obviously, again, the 988 hotline is right there. So please be sure that you're using that. Again, this is September. This is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And I wanted to highlight that at the beginning of the episode just because of so many things happening in our community. I'm not talking about the 2 Black men who were found hanging. Obviously, that is a different story that we will probably get to because they say that it was a suicide, but I have a hard time believing that because the way that it happened and the way that we're hearing, but outside of that, when it comes to actual suicide, like the main reason why I wanted to talk is because I have, in high school, I had a friend who committed suicide. So I wanted to be sure that I at least always offer that opportunity up wherever I get the chance. I've had friends who have had, bouts of suicidal depressions and of course having those thoughts, and I want to be sure that they know that I'm there for them. So that's the main reason why I wanted to go into this spiel today, because I felt it was important to me.
Especially with the industry I'm in as well. It's actually a lot deeper than what many people come to realize. Life is a real thing, and if you don't take the necessary precautions and steps, it can be gone in a blink of an eye. So we actually have this same type of mental health check at work every Friday, because that's what happens. We get told to check on our loved ones, and some people laugh and joke about it, not in a manner where like it's funny, but it's like, oh, that'll never happen. And there are situations where people are feeling like this. So in the Navy especially, they are trying to make changes for mental health, but there are times and situations that have arisen that have caused there to be more a better purview based on mental health. So definitely, if at any point y'all need to talk or need someone just to talk to, feel free to reach out to myself or Ked, and that's what this platform is here for.
Absolutely. So with that, shout out to the other hosts of the Khaotic Kulture Pod. They may or may not pop up. We'll see what happens. Steve was in the middle of a baseball scrimmage with his son. Last time we had texted him, he was getting his son's team was getting pounded. Excuse me, like that is a Ayo moment right there.
Ayo.
But they were getting, it looked, their team was getting put. It was BTA, belt to ass. They was down 15-8. And it was a 5 inning scrimmage in that league. So I'm like, yikes. He may or may not join us via phone. I'm hoping that his team might have turned it around, and if they didn't, I hope they have at least softened the blow, because 15-8 in baseball is that's rough. You scrimmage or not, that's still rough.
Don't even get me started about football, man.
Oh man, when in terms of football, all right, so here's the deal. My Steelers are 2-1 right now, and obviously I said this season that I'm kind of like I've suspended my fandom a little bit. I'm not going to have any high hopes just because of who the quarterback is. Y'all know how I feel about old man Aaron Rodgers. So I'm like kind of like, Aaron Rodgers, great quarterback, questionable human being. That being said, I let things play how they play. I'm like, all right, we'll see how this goes. We were able to beat the Patriots. That's always a good thing. But naturally, it just seems like, I don't know, the offense only managed 21 points and the defense had like multiple turnovers. So I'm still trying to figure out like where are we going. But yeah, either way, Steelers won, I guess. I'm really kind of mad at fantasy because last week, my fantasy squad scored 131 points. And if I was playing anybody else than whoever my opponent was, I would have won. Naturally, my opponent had 133 and he beat me. And now this week is the week that my team decided to be ass. So I'm just kind of like, I'm about to be 1-2 in my league. I do not like where this is going. So I'm about to like retool my bench this week and try to get up because that ain't cool, man. Like how I start off strong just to lose by circumstance to a dude who happened to have he had a lot of people on the Rams. That's how he was able to pull out that victory. And then today my team just wet the bed, so I'm just kind of like, man, football. But
fantasy wise, I am also sitting at 1-2. Jaden Daniels getting hurt didn't really help. Had I thought about it, I would have picked up Marcus Mariota. Because they ended up winning the game, which was shocking to say the least. But so this is my I say second time officially doing fantasy. So my picks weren't great, but I've made some dividends in terms of like the trade deadlines. And so I'm looking forward at the future games and how I can kind of shape and move everything to work in my favor. My personal team wise, Dallas is being Dallas. They can't seem to figure out a winning game plan. And from what I was seeing, because I didn't watch the game, I was just looking at it from the live stats. They were able to move the ball. They were moving the ball, and they just, for whatever reason, couldn't get past Chicago's defense, which I've known Chicago to have a pretty decent defense, but you look at, the offensive pickups and the keys that they try to bring to the offense, you would think that would be a different point, but it's neither here nor there. Then wasn't HU this weekend?
Yeah, Hampton versus Howard was this past weekend, and I'm completely shocked. Listen, when I attended Hampton, Howard winning a football game every now and again was not unheard of. They've won, the times that we've been there. It's not surprising that they won. What was surprising was that it was a blowout this time.
Yeah.
I looked at that scoreboard, and I didn't go to the game because obviously I was just coming off a 12-hour shift at work. So I was like, man, I'm tired. I ain't going into DC today. But when I looked at that scoreboard, I was like, yo, what the hell is going on, bro? Like, Hampton, what happened? I mean, did we lose? We must have lost a lot of seniors because, damn, I ain't never seen Howard put belt to ass like that to Hampton.
And then they coming off the loss on the road at A&T.
A&T. They lost in overtime.
Yep. So I don't know what's going on with our football teams, but we got to get back to the drawing board, get back to the basics.
Yeah, clearly,
back to the basics.
Anytime that we lose to Howard, I'm just like, hey, this season about to be a wash. So,
and then they got Elon, and then I think they play Norfolk State. So, that's gonna be interesting to say the least.
I do not foresee a win against Elon. And now the Norfolk State game is going to be interesting because it's going to be at Hampton, but then you get the spectacle of one, it being Battle of the Bay, and then two, Michael Vick being the head coach of the Norfolk State football team now. So that's going to be a very interesting game that I unfortunately will not be able to attend. But still, what I'm looking forward to, and this is a little bandhead talk, I'm definitely looking forward to the drumline battle. Between Stevie and $1 Million, because I saw the battle between $1 Million and V State, who was called Drum Fire, and apparently they're about to run it back because they had a vote for Capital Battle of the Bands, and they were like, okay, vote for which drumline you want to see being on the field. And of course, voting ended at 12 p.m. today, and it ended up being Norfolk State versus Virginia State again, with Hampton like very, very like missing the battle by like 0.3%. It was crazy. It was like Norfolk State had like 32, and then Virginia State had like 31.8, so not even 0.3. They were like down by 0.1, and then Hampton had like 31.7% of the vote. And I'm just like, man, y'all kidding me? But either
dope, though.
Yeah, it definitely would have been dope. I wanted to see Hampton versus Virginia State. We already know we're gonna get Sticky $1 million on October 4th, but I wanted to see V State versus Hampton. But it's gonna be Norfolk State and Virginia State round 2, so we'll see how that turns out this next Sunday. Because
hopefully it's no fights.
I don't expect there to be. I hope it ain't gonna be no fights, but who knows? Who knows? But anyway, for those who are in the DMV area, Capital Battle of the Bands is happening next Sunday. Excuse me, the 28th. Plenty of bands are going to be there. You're going to see Bowie State. You're going to see Hampton. You're going to see Norfolk State. You're going to see Virginia State. Excuse me. You're going to see Morgan State. And there are a few other bands that are allegedly coming as well. So it's going to be a good time, man. I got my ticket. I was like, well, since I can't go to the football game, I'm going to at least go to the Battle of the Bands, and I'm going to definitely check it out.
Yeah, man. That's the sad part about this journey I'm on. Like, I can't just up and leave when I want to, because you got to submit leave and then wait for it to get routed and a whole bunch of nonsense. Well, it's not nonsense, but just the procedures and everything. So I'm looking forward to when I can get my time submitted and leave and everything. But speaking of that, I was elated to have been given the opportunity to go up to NYC for the panel, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great segue. So, if you haven't been paying attention, obviously, the Khaotic Kulture Podcast, we had our first panel at a convention, and it was at an anime convention called Anime NYC, which was, of course, held. Now it's held every summer or at the end of summer around August in New York. It used to be in the wintertime, but they moved it. And that it was a great experience for us because it was literally the first panel under our name. Obviously, I've been a part of a panel before, but I was under Inside the Mind of a Blurred. So this time it was strictly under Khaotic Kulture. So it was a blessing to be able to bring up Law as part of the panel. We were also able to add our friends of the pod, Tony, aka Wave God. He came up. Definitely big shout out to Double O for Inside the Mind of a Blurred. He was able to work the soundboard and help us out. Big shout out to the world's worst VTuber, as Vonnie likes to call it. I Hate Vonnie, who y'all know always comes on this pod for our wrestling episodes, and of course the boy Huey, who brought his camera with him and caught excellent footage of the panel itself. And of course we recorded the panel and we put it on YouTube, so if you haven't watched the panel, please be sure that you go see it. If you want to see the full panel, because obviously I had to make some cuts due to copyright, subscribe to that Patreon. That's the only way you're going to see the full thing. Otherwise, I had to cut it because certain songs got hit with the copyright. They're not even a full 30 seconds of Freaking You by Jodeci played, and UMG struck that video down, bro, with the quickness. I was like, crazy. Bro, not even 30 seconds. Like, come on, man. It's not like I'm playing like the whole song. It's literally at the end. And I still got hit with a copyright. So unless you're watching from Russia or somewhere, you probably also won't be able to watch the video because, of course, some certain anime songs were copyrighted as well. But I was able to. I'm like, it's Russia. What do you expect? but anyway, again, I had to make that cut because of the playing Freaking You at the end, which is, I mean, it was used in an anime. That's why we played it. If you've seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, so
yep.
But still, the video is on YouTube. Please be sure that you check it out. Definitely an interesting, very interesting. I don't want to call it a battle, but it was a very interesting competition. There were some people in there who I didn't know as the animes that we were talking about. It will forever blow my mind. We're gonna recap the entire trip first and foremost. We got to start there. Wednesday, we get into town. Obviously, I took the train into Newark International, and I met Law at the actual airport itself. He flew in, and we got to the Airbnb, or the Verbo in this case, and it's actually, very quaint, very nice. You could tell
Yo,
that they kind of did a quick flip on it, but it was still a very nice little duplex. Of course, it had 2 rooms up in the top, and then of course it had the a living space and a room in the basement where I slept. Very, very nice, very well put together. And then of course we went to pick up the badges. So we of course caught an Uber into the city, and
yeah.
from there, of course, we got dropped off at the convention center. We were able to get the badges and then see, of course, where the panel was going to be held for that Saturday. We walked around for a little bit. We ended up getting like food around Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, we was
Yeah.
out MSG.
Yep. Got some food. Got the liquor, obviously, and
Yo,
of course, hopped on the train and made our way back over to Jersey. One of the biggest things is that the traveling back and forth. Could definitely wear you out. New York is going to wear you out in general, but the back and forth was just like, oh, this is crazy. So,
I think for
mm,
where we were at, everything was definitely walkable.
yeah,
So like we could have done the walking like 3-4 days in a row. We would have been tired, but it was definitely doable.
hmm
I think the only thing that was kind of like oh, I don't know about this is when the trains, but we'll get to
yeah. We
that.
gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. Also, we found out that our address is a double address. It just depends on what it depends on what zip code you put in,
Yo,
because Tony and Huey got turned around trying to find the place and whatnot. So we had to give a specific location. Like, okay, our duplex is right across from this what was that place called?
it was like Miss Popo's or something
It's
like
something like
that.
that. Not something Namaste. It
Yeah,
was a deli, and we were like, okay, find this. That we're right across the street, literally from that spot,
and
and
come
that's
to
how they
find
were
out,
able to find us.
it wasn't even a deli. It was like a catered like pickup food spot. So like they cook the food for the day and you walk in there and you get whatever they cook. They didn't
Mm,
have like a deli style bodega like we all know and have heard of. So it was like, bro,
false advertising.
false
Okay,
advertising out the wahoo.
craziness. But yeah, we was we had that. We pretty much chilled on Wednesday night, so that way we can get prepared for the week to come. Uh, Thursday, we really just kind of chilled around the duplex a little bit. We really did not really do too much until later that night. And at that night, we were able to hit up OS NYC for the
Yo,
LAN party, which was really dope, really fun. This is kind of where the adventures started.
yep.
So naturally, the party that we're at, it's the bar itself is actually decent size, but there's just a lot of people in there. So of course, it ended up getting hot. Saw a few friends there. We chopped it up with a couple people and whatnot. Law got to meet a few new people. Definitely got a chance to chop it up with Studio Maho. Big shout out to them. And I mean, ultimately, we had a good time. The drinks were outrageous. Good but outrageous. So
Yeah.
we kind of stuck with like the beers and the seltzers and stuff like that, because the mixed drinks, while good, again, outrageous prices. I was
It
like,
was
all right,
$16 a pop. But
yeah,
I
not
mean,
paying.
it was a gaming cafe, so like I kind of understand it, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
to rent out like because like you also had in the venue people that were playing PC games.
Yep.
They also had console games. So like you were able to come in and play whatever console games and PC games that you wanted to play. But in the midst of there being a DJ and dance floor and dance party going on. But yeah, $16-17 a pop. You feel me? Like I always understood that everything in New York was gonna be a little bit upcharged, but like I won't expect them like that.
Yeah, it definitely was like that. I was looking at the price like, Jesus, okay. All right. Also, as far as dancers, man, first off, and I found out these two were a couple. So shout out to the Jabberwockies dude, and then the girl who we thought had no underwear on. I'm gonna just keep it straight.
Oh,
Yeah, which apparently, of course, it was nude colored. We found out later, but dude was like literally going in, and we were just like, damn. I mean, I was like, she letting him do just about anything for real, for real. Only to come to find out, oh, they go out. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, in live action, in IRL, it was like, kid, are you seeing what I'm seeing? And kid's
Yeah.
looking at me like, yeah, bro, this is nuts.
Oh man. And
Everybody
no, for
just
sure,
kinda
like,
looking around like, what's going on here?
yeah, and I'm still like, yo, is she not wearing any underwear? I kept thinking to myself, and then finally it was like, oh wait, no, it's nude colored. Okay. That's still crazy because I was like, for the longest, I just didn't know. And I'm thinking, like, yo, that is going to be wild later on. But anyway, my regards. They did their thing. So Tony, aka Wave God, he actually got an invite to go to another party. It was a birthday party for a friend of a friend, and we found out that they was all gonna be in Brooklyn, and we was just like, all right, well, we kind of like down for the ride and whatnot. So of course, we caught an Uber all the way to Brooklyn. We ended up in the Bushwick area of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
At this place called Club Key. And this is how we knew this was going to be an interesting night, at least to end it off, because for one, I just remember like, well, of course, when we first got into the building, we were talking to this this DJ, of course, who it was also his birthday, and obviously he was drunk. Like he was drunk as fuck, but he was still, he was still a cool dude. Went in, and like it's the music is heavy EDM, like heavy. And mind you, I don't mind that at all. I do like when my music is mixed up, but I still am like, this is like heavy EDM shit, like drug trippy shit. And for good reason, because tell me why. And I'm gonna tell my story, and then I'll tell part of Huey's story first. I went into the bathroom, and of course, it's a neutral, gender neutral bathroom. Obviously, I was like, all right, well, you see girls and dudes coming out of there fine. The stalls are closed off, so it is what it is. I go in there. As soon as I come out my stall and washing my hands, I see a dude and a girl like holding hands going into the stall. I'm like, all right, either they about to have sex, they about to do drugs, or all of the above.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
So I was like, oh, okay. And it turns out at least part of that was true, because then Huey went to the bathroom, and that's when he ran into that same couple doing a bump. And he was just like, what's going on here? And they were like, oh, you gonna snitch on us about doing this? He's like, I don't want nothing what y'all got going on. I'm just trying to keep the bathroom and get out. Shout out to Huey, man, bro. That was an interesting moment for the both of us, because I was like, hey, yo, did you? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. What were they do? He was like, oh, they was doing bumps. I was like, oh, they was doing the hard drugs. Oh, okay. Well, at that point, the people who had invited us didn't even stay 10 minutes. And we were just kind of like, why did you invite us over here and you're not even going to stay?
Exactly.
So we was just like, all right, man, it's time to wrap it up. So we left. We ended up taking a train, but we ended up taking the train the wrong direction at first.
He's about to be in Queens, baby.
So I was like, as we were going, Tony was like, yo, I think we're going the wrong direction. And I keep looking like, what? I was like, what stop were we supposed to be at? And he told me we're supposed to be at this stop. I'm like, looking at the map, bro, if we keep going, we're gonna end up in Jamaica, Queens, bro. He was like, all right. So we got off and got back on the opposite end of the train to go back towards the financial district. Now, once we got there, obviously we were supposed to take the A train. And then things got really weird. First, the A train kept getting delayed. Mind you, this is like 3:00 in the morning. So
yeah, 2:33.
Yeah, this is around 3:00 in the morning. So we were just kind of like, okay, the train kept getting delayed. And then, Law, if you want to tell this part of the story, because it kind of
All right, so I'm gonna paint the picture for everybody if they haven't already imagined it. So boom, I'm sitting there in the subway at what we said 3 o'clock in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at the board. It's like 6 minutes delayed, 6 minutes delayed again.
Yep.
So I walk over by Ked. Now where Ked, Tony, and Huey are all standing, it's like right under a stairwell, but it's a rail, kind of like walking up into an establishment.
Mm-hmm.
So I go and I place myself between at the edge of the rail. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting and I cross my arms. You know, I got my flicks. If y'all haven't seen on my Instagram, I got my flicks. And then I go sit on the rail. I'm like, all right, cool. The train will be here any minute. I'm gonna just say for all respectful purposes, a character decides that the interest was piqued by me standing there, and they had already walked by once, and then they walked by again. And so by this time, when I'm actually laying or sitting on the rail, I cross my arms and my watch is visible. Now, mind you, the board that we're looking to see the status of the train has the time across the board in thick white letters. So I cross my arms and this character walks up to me and says, you know what time it is? I said, nah, but the board over there ain't got the fucking time for you. It was just like, well, you know where the train is at? I was just like, yeah, the board will tell you that too. So I instantly hit the group chat, be like, yo, WTF. They're just like, yo, just go stand over by Tony and Huey. So then I go stand over between Tony and Huey. Same character comes up to me. Tony's like, yo, my G, like, like, this ain't it. So then the character walks off. And so we're waiting. Board is still 6 minutes delayed. Then it goes down to 4 minutes delayed. 4 minutes delayed.
Mm-hmm.
So now a train because we had got off of the Fulton line, we were trying to get on the path A going back to Jersey City. So a train had let off from the Fulton stop. Here comes another character. And this is what threw me, because the first character starts singing Whitney Houston and the voice cracks. And I'm trying my hardest not to bust out laughing. And everybody's in the group chat just going ham like, yo, did y'all just hear this? So then the second character comes down off the Fulton stop and sees the first character, and we're just like, this is not finna be good. So she's looking around. She's trying to make eye contact with everybody, and everybody's either between their phone or just like advertently looking away. And we get to the point where like it's now like going on 4 o'clock or like 3:45. So we're like, all right, if this train don't come in 10 minutes, we're gonna leave. What made everybody break was the second character walks up to the first character and was just like, you got $1. We all instantly look at each other. It's like, oh, this is not gonna be good. The first character reaches down into their sock, pulls out $1, starts to give it to the second character, and was like, I don't even like girls. That broke everybody. He was just like, nope, I just got paid. Let's go. We just go catch an Uber. So we ended up catching the Uber from the financial district back to the Verbo. But like, which we actually stopped at Tony's Pizza, got some slices. Fire. But like, that was a story to tell, because we're gonna do a reverse on the first day too. But that was the end of that night on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And then to rewind, so as we're trying to find the train to go back to the Verbo after we picked up the passes, there was another character. Help me! Can you help me?
Oh, bro, I forgot all about that character, bro.
And so we're walking down the street. Help me! Can you? And like, we got at least 2 blocks away, and all you hear is, "Can you help me?"
Bro, I'm singing like,
I'm reenacting this person singing, because it was like, "Help me! Can you help me?" And so we get 2 blocks away, And this person just wails and lays on this, can you help me? And then somebody from across the street was like, would you please shut the fuck up? But yeah, that was Wednesday night. And then so Wednesday night, Thursday night, we were just like, yo, this is absolutely like this. You can't make this up. This has to be like a in-person experience.
Yeah, that's New York for you. And honestly, I forgot all about that first person until you said something, because I literally had said, like, once we even 2 blocks away, I'm like, yo, can you still hear them? Like,
yep.
Damn. Like, what? Okay.
They were adamant about getting some help.
Nah,
I don't know. They might still be there to this day.
Possibly. I hope they got some help. Maybe. We'll see. You know, New York is not a friendly place, so
at all.
Yeah. Friday was fun. Rewinding it back, the actual con itself started on Thursday, but it was only doing like a couple of things, so we didn't even bother going, because it was just like, you know, who wants to be there for 4 hours and then, you know, that's
turn
it.
around and have to go back. I mean, granted, we had the I think what was the second party we went to, because first night was the LAN party, and then Thursday night we went to.
Well, yeah, Thursday. That's when we went to Brooklyn after the LAN party.
Okay, yeah.
So
Friday night was the second party we went to.
Yeah, Friday. That's Friday night is where we split up, because y'all ended up going back to another LAN party. Meanwhile, I had, you know, said I was going to volunteer for the Plus Ultra party. You know, I was given my word that I would volunteer for them, and I have a story in that itself. But Friday, you know, we took a little time to, you know, get to the con, walked around. We attended a panel for Rooster Fighter. Got a chance to see the mangaka actually draw the rooster in real time. Waiting for that anime to drop. Also did, you know, we walked around the artist alley, which I kid you not. All right, I've been to, you know, a few exhibit halls at a few anime conventions, but when I say that exhibit hall / artist alley was so humongous, like I was overstimulated. I was just like, yo, there's so many vendors that you can go to and so many rows of it. It's like, where do we start? Where do I start? Granted, I knew I wasn't gonna buy much, because I mean, we operating on a budget right now. It's New York, man. Like we kind of had to pull this together last minute. So, you know, we not gonna be spending like buku amounts of money. But that being said, it's still like, yo, there still might be some businesses I'm interested in that I want to like check out. Maybe, you know, pick up some products later. But still, it was just like, where do we start, bro? And then I know that you and Huey, y'all did the pull-up challenge. You know, for the Marines that were there, obviously.
I got a story about that too.
Okay.
But go ahead. I'm
yeah, and then obviously there was the Japanese food court was behind, and there was actually kind of like food spots throughout the convention everywhere, but the Japanese food court is where you know, we got a chance to try different foods. I know you and I tried some ramen. I tried a couple rice balls over there. It was actually, you know, pretty cool. The food that we had anyway. The ramen was good, but it is apparently won awards for like best ramen and for whatever competition it was. And I'm like, I've tasted better.
Yeah,
not the dunk on
$17 bucks.
Yeah, I was just like, for $17, this, you know, it's decent, it's good ramen, but award-winning ramen, I mean, I guess to each their own. But I'm gonna just leave it at that. If you wanted to go ahead and tell your story about the pull-up challenge.
So yeah, it was actually after the fact. So even before the fact. So I'm walking up as if, you know, I'm not active duty Navy. And for those of our listeners who don't know, the Navy or the United States Marine Corps is a department of the United States Navy. And the ongoing joke is that we are constantly giving the Marines a ride so that they can be first on the lines. So that's the ongoing joke. So when I'm walking up and I'm talking to the Marines that are volunteering at the event, I'm just like, so, you know, what's the record for number of pull-ups today, and they were like 30 something. I was just like, I was like, have you had any other active duty military show up? They were like, nah, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they were here. So I go and I do my pull-ups. I think I did 18.
Mhm.
No, was it 18? I think it was 18.
Yeah, 18.
Which isn't bad. I mean, when I was younger, I was able to do more, but with age comes fucking life. So, so I filled out my information card, and when I actually got back after the con, I think it was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I get a phone call from a 757 area number. So I'm just like, 757, who is calling me? Because it's not my family, and it's not anybody that like I currently am, in communication with. Tell me why it's a gunnery sergeant from the Virginia Beach recruiting station talking about, hey, man, we saw that you were at Anime NYC. We were looking to see if you were looking to join the United States Marine Corps. I was just like, I would, but I'm already in the Navy. And he was just like, what the hell? He was like, why'd you fill it out then? I was like, I just want to do some pull-ups. He was like, oh, you just wanted to get a t-shirt and some gear? I was just like, no, not necessarily for the gear. I just want to do some pull-ups. He was like, but he ended up being cool about it, and we chopped it up for a few. And he was telling me that, they show up to a lot of these different events. And that him himself was a anime fan and had his own favorites, and he wished that there was more of a community within the military in itself. Obviously, me being in the military, I can have my own favorites and be a fan of different animes and mangas, but there isn't really a community per se where like we can come together and express. So we basically just chopped it up about that, and he was just like, yeah, that would be a good idea, but it would just probably be hard to get it up the line. But that was my little tidbit from after the pull-up challenge, because I literally was not expecting them to call me trying to recruit me.
No, for sure. For sure. After Friday, that's kind of where we split. I ended up again going to the Plus Ultra party to volunteer, while they ended up going to the other LAN party that apparently I didn't know LAN was doing another party until literally that day. So, can you speak more about what happened at that party, because I was not there for it.
So that party was more of a 90s theme party. So all of our outfits were either jersey or like I think I wore my corduroys with the baggy t-shirt and the jean jacket. Like I made a fit work for the party.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just 90s theme based. They had music 90s 2000s. So it was then like the 99s and the 2000s. And it was kind of similar to the party we went to the night before. But it was same venue, same thing. Check out games, check out different consoles, and they had like different games on rotation. We still met up with people that we had met up with the night before. And I kind of just did my thing, plugging the pod, honestly, and trying to get more people to show up to the panel that next day.
For sure. So, for me, I ended up volunteering for the Plus Ultra party, which was one of the official anime NYC after parties, and with that party, naturally, I kind of just stayed at the door, making sure that people had their wristbands, people had whatever, little paraphernalia that was given out. Obviously, this party felt more like an anime rave mixed in with some of the live bands, mixed in with some EDM and some hip hop music. So it felt like an all around party. And shout out to Plus Ultra Entertainment. I'm actually doing more work with them as we speak. Definitely going to be more than probably getting into editing some of their videos that they do and whatnot. So there's that. But also just attending some of their other events as well. They do really good work around the DMV area. So I definitely had to give them a shout out here. And they of course will be going on the list, obviously. But with that in mind, I still got a chance to volunteer with them. Saw a lot of people come in, their cosplays. Obviously, people are just coming from the con. Some people were going, straight from the con to the party. Some people got, freshened up a little bit. There was a dude in there who was dressed as a character from Has Been Hotel. When I say dude was like, he looked like he was just hot. And granted, New York was warm, but it wasn't like, summertime in the South hot. It was, still summer, but it was just like, dude looked like he was dying. And I'm sitting there like, and I saw him at the convention. That was the crazy thing. I'm just like, dude, you all right? He's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, well, okay. All right, enjoy the party. They've had a live band come in and play some of, our favorite anime intros and whatnot. One of the bands, they played good music, but you can kind of tell that the singer, either he was extremely tired, or I don't know what it was, because he sounded a little tone deaf because he was a little flat on some of those songs. And I can just kind of hear the wear and tear in his voice. I'm just like, all right, hey, buddy, giving his all, but you can tell, like, all right. And I was wondering, I'm like, well, they were in here doing a sound check. Like, did he not like practice for real, or was he just going through the motions or whatnot, or was he what's going on? But either way, it was still a fun time. I saw some people. Obviously, I was plugging the panelists myself, but I guess on a much more smaller scale, obviously, because I was there to do a job. And then I got a chance to they didn't expect me to work the table so long. They were just like, man, go enjoy yourself for the little bit. So once the rave part ended and the band part ended, obviously it was the hip hop section. So I was like, oh, I'm getting off at the right time. So I'm just kind of just walking around the club. It's a nice little venue. 2 stories. You had the bottom floor, and then of course you had a balcony where there was a couple bars there. The drinks, once again, good but expensive. It's New York, I guess, but I was just like, hey, it is what it is. They were doing a section where you had donuts, so apparently they were giving away donuts. I don't know if it was just like for those premium VIP members or not, but either way, one of the biggest things about that party was that there was a dude who was passed out on the couch upstairs.
Oh, no.
And I was sitting here like, oh shit, he all right? Got anybody got him? Is he good? All right, cool. Well, I went back downstairs, I did my thing, waited till the party to end and whatnot. Got a chance to go backstage again and chop it up with some of the other Plus Ultra members who I hadn't seen, but they were backstage, and on stage, and doing everything. There was a dude who won a Nintendo Switch 2 from the drawing, because they called out like multiple ticket numbers, but of course people had left. So the dude who ended up winning the Nintendo Switch 2, apparently he didn't even sound excited. We're just like, bro, you just got a new game station for free, bro. You got a console for free.
Facts.
And I'm like, bro, do you know how much a Switch 2 costs right now? I'm like, and you sitting here acting like I don't know. I just like, man, if you don't want it, I'll take it. I literally yelled from the crowd like, yo, if you don't want it, I'll take it off your hand, bro. Like, I could use one. But either way, the dude from the couch at the very end of the night obviously was he was being dragged out by his friends, and we all were looking at him like, is he good? They're like, yeah, he's gonna be good. And he got into the Uber. I said, if he makes it back to his room or wherever he's staying at without throwing up, I'll give him props. Speaking of which, that's actually kind of a good segue, because on Friday we had we of course we had a couple of shots before we left the actual building, and this is kind of on me. We got into the Uber to go to the con, and because of all the traffic and the going of the back and forth plus the heat, the liquor just didn't mix well that time. And I felt myself, I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, yo, all this back and forth is like, yo, this I don't normally get car sick. Like, what's going on here? And then I just felt it like, yo, okay, this is coming up. Thankfully, Huey was able to recognize it real quick. He was like, hey, yo, can you let the window down? Are we allowed to let the window down? And when the driver gave the okay, I immediately let the window down, and nothing but liquor just came up. I'm just like, yo, okay. wow,
The
apologies.
champ is here.
I'm sitting here like, dang, bro. Like, I'm like, man, maybe age is catching up to me because ain't no way. I'm like, I don't get car sick. What the hell is going on, bro? I don't, and especially off liquor. Like, it was a weird experience, but I took the L that time. Thankfully, again, I was able to throw it up outside of the car, not in the car, because that would have been an entire disaster. But yeah, it was that Friday truck was like, all right, well, so I was like, okay, new plan going forward. If I know I'm gonna get car sick like this, dealing with New York traffic, I'm not gonna be drinking before I leave the crib. I'm just gonna keep it a bug. I'll drink at whatever event that we at, but I'm not gonna do it, while in the car or right before I'm about to get into the car. So yeah, that was that. But Friday night was cool. I was able to actually get back to the room before the rest of the guys were, but still, it was Friday night was an experience. Now Saturday. They got a head start. They were able to. I know that Law was definitely plugging the panel heavy while I was making my way over there. We definitely got a few names and a few cards that we were, talking to. So with that in mind, I do have those people and I still have their card information. I'm reaching out to them so that way we can get them on this pod so that way we can interview them because a lot of them are Black owned businesses and it's, important that we highlight what they got going on because one has some dope ass products. One is a VTuber. Obviously they're not Black, but or at least for what we know, they may not be Black, but they could be, who knows, but and then another person, they own, what we call Saturday AM, and it's its own manga production company, and it's like a Black-owned manga production company. Yes, the CEO himself was there, and we got a chance to talk when we got his information on Sunday, but we still were able to like get that information. So we will be trying to set that up pretty soon here. But Saturday, I'm trying to think of what was when I first got there, my first interaction. I think I was just trying to find y'all, and then we ended up going to Aggie's panel first, if memory serves me. Yeah, and she had the app, the fitness app and whatnot. So shout out to Aggie. I got to get her on here too. Just so we can discuss more about not only her app, but just the things that she does, because it seems like every con or every anime-based con that there is, Aggie is gonna be there. So big shout out to her because she moves, and I mean that. So big shout out to her. Definitely got some vital information about that app, and we went to a few other panels. We went out to Tony Weaver's panel, but when we got to Tony Weaver's panel, you could tell that we were like cooked because a couple of us were like struggling to stay up. And mind you, that and you're not the only one, bro. I kind of had my moments where I was doing this too. I was just like, oh shit, you nodding off, dog. It was.
Don't get me wrong though. I was listening to what he was saying, because he was putting out good information, but I think it was just the 3 nights prior up until 4 a.m. That was like all right, like I do it.
Pretty much, it's just like dog, bro. Maybe when we were younger, we could do the back-to-back 4 o'clock nights, but not no more. It's just like, all right, look, and again, cons take a lot out of you anyway, but it's just it took a lot out of us. That being said, when we finally got a chance to like just rest, we were like, we just gonna chill in one of the restrooms, and like literally like catch a nap real quick and whatnot. Thankfully we had the wherewithal to like once Vonnie got there, we were like, all right, let's get our stuff together, and then on top of that, let's go to the stage early so that way we can set up the sound, because you never know what could happen. And it's a good thing that we did, because I wasn't freaking out, but I was like getting nervous, like, okay, well, what if this goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? It's a good thing we're here early. Let's try to figure this out like right now, so that way we can have everything under control. And thankfully we were able to get the sound figured out ahead of time, so it was just like, okay, good, we're safe. And then shout out to Tony for having his hotspot, because then we could just play music while people were filling in, so that way there won't be just dead sound in there. You're like, all right, you got music playing, you got stuff to fill it out until the panel actually starts. So shout out to all the participants of the panel itself. Definitely had a fun time. Shout out to the guy who, for whatever reason, mistaken Samurai Champloo for Samurai Jack. I do not know how you do that, but it was I if one time for the one time I got to do that, because that really threw me off completely. I was like, okay, it's one thing that you don't know it, but the fact that I was like, I'll give you a hint: the samurai who smells the sunflowers. One person didn't know. Okay, cool. I went to the other dude. He said Samurai Jack, and I was like, am I old? Like, yo, what is going on?
Yeah,
But
like everybody in there was ready to throw hands with Buddy. How bad it was.
For sure, like it was that bad. I'm like, y'all, listen, there are some anime that you can't get away with. Like, if you don't know certain anime, that's cool, but there's plenty more. Also shout out to well, her name is Carol Bits on like social media, but shout out to Tyler. She was also a participant. She came up to me later and finally said that she didn't really watch Yu Yu Hakusho. That's why she didn't get like the first couple of ones. And I'm just sitting there like, how do you not watch Yu Yu Hakusho? But then I remembered how old she was, and I'm like, damn, Yu Yu Hakusho wasn't on like TV regularly when you were growing up. That kind of makes sense. Oh. Damn, I'm old. So I just have to keep saying that over and over again. I'm just like, damn, I'm 34. Damn, she's like 23. All right, I get it. So,
but now she knows.
Yeah,
so put it on your list. And if anybody else ain't watching Yu Yu Hakusho, put it on your list.
Exactly. Please be sure that y'all watch Yu Yu Hakusho, man. It's one of the best early dubbed anime that we have. And it's such a good show. It really is such a good show. That's after the panel and whatnot, we definitely kicked it with some friends at Dallas Barbecue. Had a nice little time there, and then Sunday, Law and I just kind of like walked around because Tony and Huey had early flights, so we walked around the con for a little bit. Again, we got a chance to talk to the CEO Saturday AM. Got a chance to once again explore the vastness that was the Artist Alley. Definitely hit up Plus Ultra Entertainment again. Check them out and chopped it up with them real quick. Then we just we finally got. It was our mission, or it was Law's mission, to get a chopped cheese before he left. And so we ended up both getting it. Yeah. So we both ended up getting chopped cheeses, and then after that, we kind of took the path back to Jersey, and then at that point it was time to go. So we had a successful panel of more people than I anticipated came out. I'm thinking like, hey, look, if we get 20 people, I'll be satisfied. We ended up getting like maybe close to 100, or somewhere around 75 to 100. So we had a very good crowd for our first panel. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm with it, man. So if we ever decide to run it back with Anime NYC, we'll be better prepared next time, as far as like having the panel put together, so that way I'm not trying to crunch everything together in 2 months, but also we'll be better prepared financially, because we know New York is expensive. Very expensive.
Find somebody who can plug us in with a car while we're there.
Yeah, I think at this point it was like it probably would have been cheaper to get a car, because I can't tell you how much money I spent between taking the Uber and, of course, taking the path is fine. The trains weren't expensive, but the consistent Ubering was crazy. There was one point where when I looked at Lyft, when we were at that club in Brooklyn, and I was like, how much would it be to get back to Jersey? And it was 100 bands, or it was $100. Excuse me, 100 bands is crazy. It was
100 bands. I was like, whoa.
No, when I saw $100, I'm like, oh, ain't no way. And then when we finally got back to the financial district, and after the whole train, delay incident, and Huey was just like, hey, yo, I'm about to just call an Uber myself, and it was $50. We was just like, all right, we can do that. That's fine. But
It's just like, I mean, given the 2-month time frame to plan and get ready, we did well. We
yeah,
did well. We were not conquered by the city.
we weren't.
But next time we go, it's gonna be chaotic culture takes over NYC, and we're gonna be thoroughly prepared.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Speaking of which, we do have another panel coming up soon. I can't say where just yet, but everybody else knows where it is. But we do have another panel coming up in March. We'll let you know where it's going to be. It's going to be Past the Aux again, but it's going to be more nerd edition. So you're probably going to hear some more songs, not just from your favorite anime tunes, but from some of your favorite cartoon shows in general. That being said, again, we'll let you know where that panel will be hosting and what con that will be. But if you know March is around that time or the beginning of March, you'll know which con we're talking about. But if you don't, stay tuned. We'll have that announcement for you later. That being said, I can't wait for this one because again, we'll be better prepared. It will be in close to my area, so I don't have to worry about traveling anywhere far. It'll literally just be for me 45 to 50 minutes, if even that. Or if I decide to get a hotel, that's up in the air. But at least I don't got to worry about transportation because I will have my car. So
right.
yeah. There's that. Dang, we definitely dive deep into that recap there. So, that being said, we kind of talked about how we were surviving in the mental health check and whatnot. So, we don't need to go too deep into that, but we do want to know, like, this with how the society is very chaotic right now. We just want to know, like, how are you managing? If you have any concerns or comments, definitely, talk to us on YouTube. You can use the chat or you can use the comments. You can also, of course, message us at any point in time if you are having some issues. They could be financial issues. Look, that New York trip took a chunk out of my pocket. I was struggling for a little bit, man. I'm thankful I got family. So yeah. So listen, we know that there, with the uncertainty of the economy and everything going on, watching your pockets can be a very stressful endeavor. So again, if you are having some issues as far as surviving in this economy, let us know, what your issues are. And we could tell you like how we managed to get by. And then of course, what we're doing to manage ourselves. Listen, I'm thankful to still have a full-time job as much as I complain about it. That being said, I've got with my cousin, we are retooling some things about resumes because I want to be sure that I could get to that next level. And of course, we're going to continue to take this as far as possible. Also, for me, there was a certain thing that I did not want to talk about specifically, especially because I know, with law being active duty Navy, there are certain things that I want to avoid. That being said, all I'm going to say regarding that little incident that happened is that, listen, murder is never okay. And it never is. Like, nobody should ever have to die for what they say. That being said, always be careful what you say because you cannot control how people react to you. That is going to be the biggest thing. And if you spew out hateful rhetoric and comments, don't be surprised when that hate does a 360. Again, I'm not condoning anything. I'm not condoning murder. I'm not condoning violence. However, Bible does say you reap what you sow. I'm going to leave it at that. I will probably talk more about that in a bonus episode. So if you want to hear my real comments about this entire situation, you'll have to subscribe to Patreon in order to hear that, because I will dive deep into that incident, plus the difference between Christianity and Christian nationalism, because I think that's a conversation that needs to be had, especially because there are some black folk on my timeline who really surprised me with some of their comments. And I was blown aback, like, excuse me? Wow. Okay. That's all I got to say. I was thoroughly surprised by some of the stuff that they were saying. And one person made the offhand comment that said you should be Christian before you should be black. And I was like, that comment right there is rooted in white supremacy. But again, Patreon. You will hear that more from me if you subscribe to the Patreon. And I may or may not decide to drop that bonus on YouTube, but that's probably going to be strictly Patreon because that is a very, very like nuanced conversation that needs to be had. So again, for more bonus content, please be sure that you subscribe to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Chaotic Culture Pod. With that, let's go into some new music and some new shows if there are anything that we've picked up. Law, is there any shows or any music that you picked up?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've had so much going on coming back to work. I just got nominated for, or selected, or nominated, selected, nominated for Sailor of the Quarter, which is basically just a award for being outstanding. So I went up on a board against 3, 4, or 5 other people. And basically just like an interview, do the interview, and then based upon the interview, they select who it is. But I've just been wrapped up in that, and then with my actual work, I really haven't had any time for gaming, TV, going out, no nothing. I've literally just been in here working and sleeping, working, eating, sleeping.
Sounds like me, man. Sounds like me. I haven't had time to touch new games yet, though. I may try to take some time out this week to play some games, man. I haven't touched my PS5 in weeks, and I'm like, man, I need to get back on the sticks on something, man. Whether it's to hop back in Destiny, which I hadn't played in months, or just to hop on some new games. I played a little bit of Expedition 33, but I still haven't like gotten to the meat and potatoes of that game, and I really want to. Marvel Rivals is always there, obviously. I definitely want to, get back into it, but Sonic Racing Crossworlds is coming up on the 25th. And granted, I'm not buying it directly on the 25th. I'm going to wait until the top of the month to buy the game, but I definitely want to get back into my Sonic bag because the people who have played that demo say it is an amazing game. And I don't give no stock in IGN because a lot of the stuff that they've been dropping lately, as far as like the reviews, has been trash. But if IGN could give Sonic Racing a 9, that I know, I'm like, oh, if they give it 9s, I know the game is good. So, and that's very rare for them.
I had people talking to me about Battlefield 6. I think, is it 6 or 7? Battlefield 6. I had people talking to me about Borderlands. I think that just recently came out. Borderlands 4. Black Ops 7, I believe, is getting ready to come out. So right now, I'm just in a position where I need to get an external hard drive or get more internal hard drive space so that I can download everything that it is that I've been wanting to play, because I still got stuff on like my backlog that I haven't even looked at. So.
And dog, you just reminded me that my external hard drive got destroyed. So there's a lot of games that are lost forever that I got to re-download, and I'm still sick about that. So I had to. So I broke down and got an internal hard drive for my PS5 just because of that. But I'm just like, dog, man, I'm so disappointed because there was a lot of games that are just like gone, or at least a lot of data that was gone, and
that was a lot of grinding.
and Geek Squad can't even recover. So I'm just like, man, I'll be all right. But still, it was just so disappointing to see that external hard drive get busted up the way that it did, because it didn't look like it had any damage done to it. But when I plugged it in and when I turned it on my PS5 and I couldn't access any of the games or any of the data that I had on it, I was just like, man, ain't this something? Having to spend money on an internal hard drive is when you aren't prepared for it, is just not the wave. So
that's why I've been holding off. Like I haven't been busy enough, or I've been too busy to play games, and 2, it's just like, why buy it? And it's just gonna be sitting there. So
for sure,
I think I'll have some time around Christmas, and so that's probably when I'll be able to actually sit down and real deal like grind out some games. But for now, I've just been rocking with the external because it got all my PlayStation 4 games on it, and I'll just take it from there.
Hey, that's real, man. That's real. I did have the opportunity to participate in a Plus Ultra tournament that they had. They do something called Tournament Tuesdays, and they
Okay.
had one for Super Smash Brothers this Tuesday. Now, normally I wouldn't be able to go because the way that my schedule flipped around for this new job, I'm now 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday. So it's kind of like on Tuesdays, I kind of got to get my sleep so that way I can, be ready for the job on 3 a.m. But at this past week, we were actually closed. They closed the building on Wednesday. So I'm like, oh, I could participate in Tournament Tuesdays. Now, I ain't played Smash in a minute, and I mean
Yeah.
a minute. But I was like, you know what? Now is as good as an opportunity to like get back into it and see if I can remember the controls and just play just to have fun and whatnot. And did I get my ass beat? Yes, but it was such I guess a fun turn your brain off moment. Like, yo, I'm trying to get remember the controls for Smash again because it's been a while. I don't have it on my Switch, and I need to probably get it for my Switch because I enjoyed playing Smash. And naturally, there's also the with the Switch 2 coming out. Of course, there's probably going to be a new Smash maybe in 5 or 6 years. I know the creator said that he was kind of like done with Smash, but are you really done with Smash Brothers? Like, I don't think so. We'll see what
They can
happens.
get better.
Yeah, but that being said, we also were asking like, what else can you add for Super Smash Brothers at this point? And I'm just like, listen, if they were able to get the licenses for Final Fantasy and for Kingdom Hearts, oh, there's plenty of characters that they can add to Super Smash Brothers if you get those
For sure.
licenses. So yeah, so I know for a fact Super Smash Brothers ain't done. It's far from it. But either way, it was just a fun moment to actually be, being able to play and whatnot. So that being said, yeah, this week I think I'm gonna dedicate some time to the games, whether it be on the Switch or whether it be on the PS5, so that way I can get my back into my gaming mode for real, for real. I won't be able to participate in Tournament Tuesdays this week, obviously, because again, I have to get ready for work on Wednesday. But that being said, it'll still give me a good opportunity to get back into the thick of things. For me, new shows, I haven't really like picked up anything like new. There is one anime that I picked up that I got recommended from. Shout out to the boys at My Check Waifu. They actually recommended that that I actually pay attention to this anime, and I started episode 1, and episode 1 was so good, but I just haven't been able to like get to the other episodes yet. But it was a really good anime, and I can't for whatever reason I can't remember because it was one episode, but I'll have that information for y'all in a minute. That being said, in my One Piece journey, I am now in Wano, and I'm surprised I got here this fast, but I'm moving. Like, I'm not stopping with Wano. Wano's probably gonna take I'm gonna be in Wano for a minute because I know it's like 191 episodes, give or take. So it's gonna be a while. So
I was gonna say, did you get there with filler or without filler?
Without filler. I skipped a lot of the filler.
Smart.
I got my list of One Piece episodes. Then they tell me, okay, here's all right, this is what you can watch, this is what you can skip. So I skipped a lot of the episodes. I haven't watched any of the One Piece movies yet, but that's an entirely different list that I'm going to be working on. I really just wanted to get to like the actual story, so I've been skipping the filler and just getting right to the continuity of One Piece. So yeah, but I'm just still surprised that I was able to get to Wano this fast. So again, I know I'm going to be here for a break, but I'm truly enjoying the journey and can't wait until I can at least say that I'm caught up to One Piece, which probably won't be until the beginning of next year, but at least it'll be close. So, and then once I
they
catch up
probably will be after the break because I think they're taking a break. I don't know if it was through the manga or if it was through animation, but I know they said that there's a break that has come up. So by the time you get to Egghead, they should be reanimating again.
Okay.
Based off of where they're at, manga wise.
Yeah, I know in the manga they're in Elbath. And
yeah,
I think they're going through a flashback right now, which is a pretty dope flashback from what I've been told. I'm trying to avoid spoilers like the plague now because it's like, damn, I'm so close. I'm really close now. I need to. Nah, listen, I'm only
I get
2
off of
hours away from
everything.
y'all. Right. So I've literally tried to like mute everything dealing with One Piece as far as like where the manga is and then where the anime is. I'm just like, listen, I'm right. I'm literally right there behind y'all. So at this point, I don't want any spoilers. When I wasn't paying attention to it and I was seeing like stuff from Gear 5 from a couple years ago, I was like, okay, so this is what this looks like. All right. And I was seeing some stuff obviously, with Luffy reaching Gear 5, but now I'm like, I don't want to see how how it led up to Gear 5. I don't want to see nothing about Wano. Let me be surprised. I'm not even paying attention to what's going on at Egghead and Elbath right now. Like my focus is right here because now I'm literally this close. So I'm gonna finish that off. And I'll be satisfied with that. There's a lot of anime that I caught up with. Almost caught up on Sakamoto Days. I gotta finish Dan Dan Dan. I fell behind a couple episodes with that. Season 3 has also been confirmed. Obviously, I saw Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, which we reviewed on Inside the Mind of a Blurred. Great movie, long, but great movie.
I would say I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so no spoilers, no spoilers. It's a great movie. If I read the manga, so I kind of knew what was gonna happen. The movie itself though only covered like 16 chapters, and there's still like 45 or 47 to go. So I'm not sure how the next 2 movies are gonna cover all of that, but they'll find a way, I guess. Either way, great movie, but just if you do go see it, Law, I just recommend that you use the bathroom beforehand and don't drink like super heavy throughout the movie because it is long. You might be able to take a bathroom break like at certain flashback, but it's I think everything is kind of crucial to the story. So just again, it's 2 hours and it's almost 2 hours and 45 minutes. I got to the theater at 10. I think the movie officially started at like 10:15. I didn't get out of the theater until 1 a.m. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yes, that's staying for the credits and everything. It was just like, damn, it's 1 o'clock.
There weren't no end credits, right?
No end credit scenes or anything. You did have scenes that were with certain anime movies, they'll start rolling the credits as the scene is going, but it was like no super end credit scene or anything like that. It was just like, all right, this is the credits are rolling, the movie's about to end, and then it ends. So
I mean, if I could do it for Thunderbolts, I think I should be all right.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's on my list of things to go and watch. Just like I said, have been caught up with work, so I haven't been able to go. So
yeah, man, I feel it. Music wise, I listen to a few underground hip hop. I listened to Mike's Showbiz. I got through that. That's actually a really dope album. I listened to what artist is that? Now this one I should be able to pull up real quick because I just listened to the album it's McKinley Dixon, Magic Alive. It might be like on the top of my list for like hip hop albums of the year. So I'll do that at the end of the year. For those who know, I do a top 25 hip hop albums. So I'll do that for 2025. I did one for 2024. I listened to Cardi B's album. It's actually for Cardi B. It's actually decent. It's a decent listen. I will say that it's a lot of she's talking a lot of shit. Obviously, she's talking her shit at the beginning. She gets really vulnerable in the middle because obviously, the whole thing with her and Offset and shit like that. And then of course she talks her shit closer to the end and whatnot, and just having her trying to get her self-confidence back. And she takes a few shots at a few people, especially Bia, if you know about that whole story. Yeah, I'm just like, at this point, Bia don't need to make a diss track to her again. Just leave it alone. Like, but either way, it was a decent listen. I had gotten a message that as soon as I finished that Cardi B album, I got a message that Jay Electronica has dropped like 3 projects over the weekend. He dropped one on Thursday, he dropped one on Friday, he dropped one on Saturday. I'm just like, I can't keep up. So that is going to be on the list.
Currency dropped. Or was it a single? I think he dropped the album.
I wouldn't be surprised. Y'all know Currency stay dropping music like nonstop. Wait. So that's he dropped a single, and
Okay, so
no, that's not what I was looking at. He did drop an album well, it's I guess a 7-song EP. I guess he dropped last Monday.
Okay.
So yeah, Currency stay dropping music. From my smokers out there, yeah, that's the one. He's still same kind of music, and you know what? If you know your lane, you know your lane. But Currency's always a favorite of mine. I'm trying to think who else dropped. I can't think of anybody else who dropped just recently, but I will just say that I've been listening again to a lot of hip hop because some people have just been recommending the artists. I finished Raekwon's album, and I finished Ghostface Killer's album. So there's still some more music that I have to cover. I think since we last talked, I also listened to Joey Badass's album, which unfortunately I think was a little underwhelming, but it was still, still decent. Earl Sweatshirt also had an album that he dropped, which was actually pretty good. So don't let people tell you that like hip hop is dead, man. Now hip hop is alive and well. You just again, the real spitters are coming back, and I think that's what's important, especially with the whole thing going on with with the ATL artists right now, with the drama between Gunna, Thug, and everybody else who's involved in that camp. Man, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, that is the music that I have been listening to lately. Apparently Stove God Cooks is about to drop an album pretty soon, so I'm gonna be paying attention to that. And I think that's it. I think I covered all the music that I listened to within the past few weeks. So all right, with that in mind, we are going to transition and talk about the thing that I think is very important for us, and of course, the new happenings within the pod. So obviously, if you've watched this episode, you saw the new intro. Obviously, that after hours of trying to cut footage and whatnot, I was able to piece that together. So I'm giving myself a big ass shout out because damn, that took forever to do that intro. Obviously, we've got some new people that are lined up for interviews as well. We're gonna, of course, talk more about what's happening within our world, obviously not just in the hip-hop world in general, but just in our society in general. I've had a few people within Baltimore that said that they wouldn't be minded being featured in the pod. Like, these are Black-owned businesses within Baltimore, and that's something that I definitely want to highlight, so that way we can get more of these Black businesses out there. And that's also a part of what I want to talk about as well, man. Like, don't let these people tell you what you can and cannot do. I know certain people who hold the office in the White House. They said some very disparaging comments about, especially about people in Baltimore, saying that they are born to be criminals. They are not, man. Listen, people have resources out there, and Baltimore is doing amazing, man. We just had the One Baltimore Back to School rally. And shout out to Zay Flowers who popped up to there as well. That shit was beyond incredible. It was an incredible back to school event, man. The kids got free book bags, they got free learning equipment as far as like notepads, pens, and whatnot. There was dance offs. Some of the kids even got free shoes. There was plenty of events, plenty of games out there, man. And I just want people to know that there are people who are doing real stuff within the community. So shout out to One Baltimore for the amazing back to school event that we had. Yo, this shit was dope. They even caught a glimpse of me on the news. Apparently, I was in my my job's volunteer shirt, and then I also happen to have my my law what you call them, lock sock. I had that lock sock on. So apparently while somebody was speaking in the background, you could see, my head in the background moving book bags and whatnot. So that was interesting. I was just like, dang, I wish I would have had my hair out for that shot had I known, but it is what it is. There are, I said that there were a few people within Baltimore that I definitely wanted to highlight. And then there's a few people, of course, that we're bringing back to the pod. Obviously, I've got some people who want to come back and do some more interviews and just do some more episodes with us in general. And that's what we're really trying to get back to. We're trying to get back to making sure that we include people who are in our communities, who are doing content creation, who own their own businesses, and just being a part of the atmosphere of the pod again. So that's something that is going to be brand new this season. I know last season, with schedules being up and down and whatnot, we couldn't really get to what we wanted to get to, but still, there's still opportunity for us to do amazing things. Also, again, we're bringing back Music Roundtable. We've been trying to get this back for a while now. We're actually supposed to be doing Wale's discography, both mixtapes and albums. So I got to hop back in. I'll admit that I kind of fell off because I got distracted with a few other things, but we will be getting back to the Music Roundtable. And of course, we will be holding the polls on social media as far as what you want us to rank. And then there's going to be some artists where we won't do like a full rank, like S, A, B, C, D, and we might have to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as far as like what was the greatest album and what was in the middle. Because there's a lot of dope artists out there that just don't have, an extensive catalog, but are still important to the culture. So naturally, we're going to do that. But there are certain artists that I got asked if we wanted to do Stevie Wonder's discography, and I said, "Oh, that's gonna take a while, but I do want to do
it." Oh man, you talk about that's like at least 4 months of preparation just to be able to make sure you can get listening time and that you don't miss anything.
Exactly. I'm like, man, that catalog is. We going back to the 60s to now, like. Stevie
man, is still making music.
Still making music, man. 75, still making music. So it's gonna take a minute. But I mean, some people ask, so I'm not gonna sit there and say like we're not gonna do it. We just gotta be prepared. There was one other artist that I wanted to do where we would rank like 1 through. Oh, it was Outkast. Someone asked me if I was gonna rank Outkast discography, and I said, well, we can't do. SAB. We can't do like the letter grade ranking because they've only had but so many projects. If I'm not mistaken, Outkast has 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 albums, not including compilations albums. Mm-hmm. So if we do that, it's like, all right, so that's just gonna be rank what their greatest album is, and then fill it out 2, 3, 4, 5, and then find out what their lowest album was, which most of us will say is Idlewild, but I'm still listening to it, obviously. So we got some more Music Roundtables coming up. We definitely going to bring that back, and we're going to make sure that we have an extensive list of artists that you can choose from. Normally we will host the polls on our X account. So if you don't have X/Twitter, please be sure that you follow us at Khaotic Kulture 1. And tell us what you want us to rank as far as Music Roundtables. I think as far as new stuff for the pod, I think that's really good. Oh, yeah, we finally got a TikTok. So yeah, there's that, I guess. I was avoiding it, but we had to do it. So expect more clips out of us. Obviously, I put 4 up there for everybody to see, just to kind of build some more hype around the pod coming back. But we do have a TikTok. Once again, it's Khaotic Kulture Pod, just like everything else except for Twitter. So definitely be sure that you follow us on TikTok at Khaotic Kulture Pod. You'll be seeing some more clips from our episodes on there as well, hyping it up and talking about the important things, obviously, and then some more clips will show up on Instagram as well. Speaking of which, we do have a social media manager. They've been mainly doing like some of the flyers and whatnot, like our flyers for our pod, they took care of. And of course, if you're looking at our background right now, they took care of that as well. That is the new season 7 background. So big shout out to Alex. Like, I was looking for a creative mind for real, and they came in the clutch. So they're gonna be taking over as far as like creating flyers, except for like for on episode basis on a day-to-day. That'll still probably be me, but they're gonna definitely help out and add their expertise as well. I'm also going to give them control of some of these social media platforms as well, as you know. And if they don't have direct control, they'll at least be in control of what content we put together, so that way we can get it out to you easily as well. So there's that. We trying to make moves, y'all. We really we was just like, all right, now that everybody's kind of settled, let's start, getting back to what we were doing and start, continuing to make moves. So that's a little bit about the new stuff that's going on within the pod and what we have plans for this year. So please stay tuned to that. We are really coming at y'all with some good heat, and I want y'all to be present for it. And I definitely can't wait to show y'all what we got in store for y'all this season. Law, you got any comments about what we doing new?
Nah, man. I'm like I said, I'm down here in Jacksonville, so I'm just trying to venture to different spots and find different Black-owned businesses that we can bring up to interview. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, other than myself, like I'm about to start trying to get into this streaming bag with my PlayStation, so we'll be look forward to seeing stuff from that. Other than that, no, I think everything we got planned is just gonna be monumental, especially with the panels that we got planned and are trying to get into in the future. So it's gonna be good one way or other.
For sure, yeah, for sure. With that in mind, I'm also planning on applying to MomoCon. That's going to be in Atlanta. That usually happens around Memorial Day. So we're going to plan on having a panel for that. As far as DreamCon, that's a little. I'm not going to say that we can't do that. I think that attendance for DreamCon is just really going to be dependent on where funds lie, because DreamCon is going to be back in Houston and it's going to be back in the middle of July. As far as us having a panel there, I think that there are certain requirements that we have to meet. So we either have to meet them, and if not, we can still try. But I'm still gonna put in for a panel for us at DreamCon. But my expectation is, let's get through one panel coming up in March, and then we can talk about May, and then we can talk about July, and then of course we can talk about if we decide to do New York again, which I think a lot of us do want to do New York again. But we'll get together and we'll make sure that we have those panels figured out. We are definitely going to we're going to be making bigger moves here as time goes on. I think with the success of the New York panel, that shows that we can really do this shit. So why not? Let's just go for it and take it all. That's all I got to say. I think this is a good opening episode for season 7. And as always, if y'all have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to hit us up on social media or email us at chaoticculture1@gmail.com. Again, I'll plug everything else at the end, obviously. But before we get up out of here, because it doesn't look like anybody else is going to come through, and we are almost an hour and 45 in, and I definitely didn't want to, put out a 2-hour episode at the beginning of the season, especially with all the other work that I got to do behind the scenes. So, Law, you got any comments? You got any new business highlights? You got any new people that you want us to highlight? Obviously, we got the list coming up, and we got some people that we are going to be highlighting from Anime NYC, but I was just wondering if you found anybody in Jacksonville that you wanted to shout out.
Yeah, so I don't have it pulled up with me right now, but there's this group called Black and Jacks Anime. I believe that's correct, but they're a Black-owned anime group. They have their own warehouse, kind of like Plus Ultra has their spot.
Mm-hmm.
And they throw parties, they throw tournaments, you name it. And it's right here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'll be sure to get that information so that we can start plugging it into the roundup. Then there's also a DJ who does karaoke. She said she's been doing it for about 4 or 5 years. So I'm gonna try to get her contact information, get her up on the pod, and get her some outlooks and interviews and whatnot. So that's my two right there. And like I said, I'm actively hunting and searching. So anybody that I plug the pod to, hope y'all check us out. And if you want to link and collab, let me know.
Sounds good, bro. Sounds good. All right. Time for the rundown, y'all. For those who are not familiar with the rundown, this is where we go through all of the Black podcasts, Black authors, content creators, artists, and Black businesses that have either supported this podcast, been on this podcast, or who've just, supported us individuals in general. We definitely want to give y'all a shout out for all the work that you do within the community. Of course, starting with our Black podcast, big shout out to Inside the Mind of Blur. Always, that's gang. You already know that is the other squad over there. So shout out to them. Mike Check, Waifu. Big shout out to Polo and Tel, continuing to still be one of the best seasonal anime podcasts that are out there. Please be sure you check them out. Shout out to Worst Gen and Bland Anime Podcast. I think they're on another hiatus. They are also known as Anime After Dark. Of course, they'll let us know when they decide to come back, if they decide to come back. But yeah, shout out to both of them. Truth and Transparency Podcast. I haven't heard anything lately from them. But definitely big shout out to Brother X. He's always a big supporter of this platform, as well as his wife, the culture scientist. So big shout out to them. Dad Needs to Talk with Robert Father Vash, Geek Set Podcast, Anime Junkies 3 Weeks of the Podcast, Those Anime Girls, The Commute, and Black Geek Energy. Big shout out to y'all. To our Black authors, K. Renee and Elena Graham, aka Elena, we definitely appreciate y'all for all the work that y'all do. For our Black content creators, shout out to Off Black Mag with Aaron, who we ran into Aaron at Anime NYC. Shout out to Off Black Mag. Shout out to Sundari. I don't know if she's going to be pulling up any content anytime soon, but hopefully we'll hear more from her in the coming months. Shout out to Cerberus Entertainment. Big shout out to Tatted Poodle, the Geechee Gamer, who is back in the States. I definitely have her on the list as well to hopefully have here for an interview. So big shout out to Q. Shelby with Simply Janine, Simply Baked and Rose Less Traveled. Strange Keith with Idols to Icons. Big shout out to Toasty Marshmallow. And of course, shout out to the Corner 5. That is Simone, Courtney 5, Chris, and Sham. And again, shout out to Scuba Steve and Alpha with Blur Mob Productions. For our Black artists, once again, shout out to our very own NASA. Shout out to Scoozy, Jack Union, Phil.me, Ellis Quinn, RJ Stackhouse. Shout out to the boy Quarter. Shout out to Tyrone League Jr., who again has provided he's been providing our intros for the pod itself. Big shout out to you, bro. Then of course, shout out to Ari Lachelle, Zach Hans with Fortresses. Shout out to Elena once again, Zainab, and of course Imogen. And then for our Black businesses, big shout out to Already Paid by Dre, Fresheners, Righteous Bonds by Timo, KS's Brand by Christina, Cream Cosmetics by Naima. Also shout out to Naima. She is a full-time student at Norfolk State University, and she's been getting major traction with her content because she posts Instagram content all the time. She also has been wearing her Behold Ho shirts, and us being Hampton, I really want to say Behold These, but I that's kind of how I feel about Norfolk State. But anyway, Mind Over Money by Tremaine. Big shout out to Studio Maho once again. She Designs Too by Aaron. I've actually reached out to Aaron to update our business cards. Big shout out to Black Magic / Lit Wands by Lona T, H4 created by Zenobia, Real Estate Stone by Meredith, So by Bell by Mariah, and Scrappy Sentiment by Sappy. I was hoping that Sappy would be on this episode, but she hasn't said anything, so I'm guessing she might be asleep or might be doing schoolwork. But either way, big shout out to her. And with that, I think it's time to sign off, unless we have any other closing comments. Law, you got any closing?
Once again, as we said earlier in the episode, when it comes down to your mental health, please, we implore everyone to take it serious. You are cared for, you are loved, and people do care for you. You're never truly by yourself, and someone is also going through things the same time you are. So that is the best of times to pull together and embrace one another. Check up on your folks. get into your legislature and look at who it is that we're putting in these offices for, or in terms of making and passing the laws that we are to abide by. Start picking up the book, put the phone down. Or if your book is your phone, then start reading something that's actually worth something.
Nah, for sure. One of our episodes in season 6 was literally called like "Open the Damn Schools," and as always, man, going back to that old clip that I used to see on BET all the time. Read a book, y'all. Like pick up a book. And if your book is on your phone, read something worthwhile. I even got back to reading a little bit. I'm about to get back into my fiction bag like crazy. So there's a lot of good books that are out there. So please be sure once again that you're reading something. And then again, with September being Suicide Prevention Month, again, you know that you are loved, know that you are important, and that there's always someone that is fighting with you as well. So please be sure that you seek all available resources. Again, 988, it is the National Suicide Hotline. Please be sure that you use that. If you need any additional information, of course, feel free to message us. Again, just be sure that you're getting the help you need, because we know that life can be rough, but just know that you are not alone in this fight, and we will always have your back no matter the situation. And yes, we know that these things can get very, very heavy, but know that there's different and multiple ways that you can seek the help that you need. Again, whether that be from a religious counselor or an actual therapist, or just your family and friends. If you just need someone to just listen to, if you need to have someone just pay attention to what you're saying and what you're going through, just know that we always have an open ear here. Well, all right. So with that, be sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Khaotic Kulture Podcast on your favorite DSP. Please be sure that you subscribe to the Patreon once again for early access to the podcast and bonus episodes of the podcast. You can subscribe at any 4 levels, but again, just starts off at $2 to subscribe. Once again, we still appreciate your support. That is patreon.com/Khaotic Kulture Pod. You can follow us on our Facebook page at the Khaotic Kulture Podcast. You can follow us on X/Twitter at Khaotic Kulture 1. You can follow us on Blue Sky at chaoticculture.bsky.social, and you can follow us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Khaotic Kulture Pod. You can follow me, Ked the Pro, that's K3D the Pro, on all social media. You can follow Nasa at I'm the Casa on all social media. You can follow Law on IG at L.JR_96 and on X at Law96_. I don't remember your TikTok offhand.
I don't really be up there like that, but I'm probably about to try to streamline everything anyway. So changes coming soon.
Hey, fair enough. All right, you can follow Sappy at Scraps14 on all social media. You can follow Johnny at JLeeTrey on all social media, and of course, you can follow Scuba Steve on all social media at Scuba Steve 1428. And this has been another edition of the Khaotic Kulture Podcast. Until next time, folks, remember, embrace the culture, chaos rules, be blessed, be safe, God is love, and we are out of here. Deuces.
One.
So what's the word?
You are now tuned in to the Khaotic Kulture Podcast. And